Okay, on this particular one, I will give you a problem, and it's given to you in slope-intercept form, such as this one. Slope-intercept form is our y equals mx plus b. And I'm going to ask a couple things on it. I'm going to ask what the slope is on this particular one. So let's look at that first. When it's in slope-intercept form, the slope is always found, it's the number right before the x. In this case, it's a 4, so my slope on this particular problem is 4. That's my slope. The y-intercept is another thing I'll ask you for. Y, that's supposed to be a y. Y-intercept. The y-intercept is always this last number over here, okay? -10. So my y-intercept on this one would be -10. But remember, the y-intercept, is where x equals 0. So if x were to equal 0, 4 times 0 is 0, -10. So you'd want to write that as an ordered pair. Your x would equal 0, your y would equal -10. And that's your your y-intercept. Now if I ask you to find the x-intercept, and the x-intercept is where your y value equals 0. That's where it crosses the x-axis. Your y would equal 0. So we would set up this equation. This would be, I'll just rewrite the one up there, y equals 4x minus 10. But we know that y is going to equal 0 in this case. So I just plug in a 0 here. 0 equals 4x minus 10. Okay, now I just need to solve it for x. Plus 10, plus 10. 10 is equal to 4x. I would divide by 4, divide by 4. 10 divided by 4 gives me 2.5. 2.5 equals x. So now that I know my x value, but I want you to write it as an ordered pair, just like we did for the y-intercept. So I know that my y value on this one is 0, and I know my x value is 2.5. So right here is my x-intercept. I'm going to go ahead and write that one. I've got 2.5, comma, and my y value on this one is 0. 2.5 comma 0. So my slope is found again right before the x. My y-intercept is this number here, but when you write it as an ordered pair, remember that your x value is the 0. And finally, your x-intercept, you're going to have to plug in 0 for y, find your x, and then just write it as an ordered pair. Okay? Now I'm going to do one more, just for a little bit of practice. And I'm going to use the same method here. We'll go y equals 3x plus 15. Okay, so first thing we want to find out is our slope. Slope, or our average rate of change, on this particular one would be 3. That's our number before the x. Your y-intercept, remember your y-intercept is where x equals 0. If x were to equal 0, 3 times 0 is 0. That would give me my 15. 0, comma 15. Remember your x equals 0 at your y-intercept. 15. And then my x-intercept, x-intercept is where my y value equals 0. So again, I'm just going to rewrite that equation. Y equals 3x plus 15. I'm going to plug in 0 for y. 0 equals 3x plus 15. That's where it crosses the y-axis. Right, that's where it crosses the x-axis, excuse me, where y equals 0. I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides. Negative 15 equals 3x. Divide by 3. X equals -5. Remember, you need to write it as an ordered pair. So this is going to be my x is -5, and my y value would be 0. So that would give me my slope, my y-intercept, and my x-intercept, all three. But remember, when you're writing these intercepts, to make sure to write them as an ordered pair.